So I just kind of came to the realization that I should probably film an intro for this video. I hope this crappy angle works. But yeah, today we're going to be going through my entire game collection. My shelf back here is actually empty, because I'm actually using this video as an excuse to organize them, as they're kind of messed up. But just to kind of break this video down a little bit, I'm going to try and avoid making it a couple hours long. But it still might end up being the longest video on this channel, because we are going to go through every single physical game that I own. I have done a lot of digital purchases in the past, and my Steam library is still bigger than anything close to what I have back here. But who wants to look at somebody scrolling through their Steam library? So of course, we're going to start off with the games. We're going to be going in order from the oldest to the newest, based on the consoles, not on the games themselves. And then after that's done, we're gonna look at the actual consoles themselves, along with some of like the big like collector's editions and stuff like that I have that I don't want to throw in with just all of the other games. That doesn't mean that the other games it's showing aren't cool, interesting, or have value. It just means that they're not in like a big fancy box that might just be worth $3, or it could be worth a few hundred. I also don't know if I'm gonna be going into my my controller collection. I actually do have a controller collection. I might go into that, I might not. I don't think we will. I'll also be showing some prices on screen for a fair amount of the games. I'm not sure right now if I'm going to do just all of the games, or if I'm just going to be valuing some of the more interesting ones, but you guys will figure that out. Alright, so yeah, ignore everything that Doofus just said. Yeah, there are going to be some collector's editions mixed in with the games. I'd say about half of them, they're just smaller collector's editions. Also, the prices that are going to be showing up on the screen are all going to be from price charting, specifically the app GameEye, which uses price charting. If you guys don't already know, price charting is the most accurate option you have, but that doesn't mean that it's that accurate. There are going to be some games that you're going to see that are worth a lot less in this video than they should actually be valued. I'm going to do my best to try and correct them, but long story short, people selling fake games or simply parts of games can confuse price charting and lower values of games on their platform, as opposed to sold eBay listings. But I don't have the time to search for every game through sold eBay listings, so I'm just going to be correcting the ones that I know are off. Anyways, here's the video. Alright, so we're going to start off strong with, well, the oldest game console that I own and have games for, which is the Atari 2600, which was a second-generation game console, I actually think. Yes, the Atari is the only game console from Generation 2 that I have, releasing back in 1997. So a lot of these games are going to be in kind of beat up shape, because as I just said, they're from 1977. I think the Atari is one of the most fun consoles to collect for, because the games are just relatively unique, and while they can be hard to get in good condition, like this unbelievably beat up copy of Dolphin, it's even missing its label here. I think my brightness is a little too high. There, did that fix the brightness? They're really low barrier to entry. Nobody's really collecting the 2600 right now, so you can get these games for stupid good prices. A fair amount of these actually have the price that I paid right there on the back, because there's a game store that I shop at, yeah, I got there $3, that sells Atari games for even cheaper than you can find them online. So let's see, we have video pinball, and some of my older videos on my main channel. If you look in the background at my old CRT, this is actually the game that's in the Atari playing on the TV in the background. It's not particularly, Defender's great, it's not particularly a great game, it's pinball, but it made for a nice looking background. We also have the game that Ready Player One kind of made popular again, Joust. I completely suck at Joust by a long shot. We have Miss Pac-Man, which fixed the original Pac-Man. The original Pac-Man on the Atari, if you don't know, is like the worst version, and Miss Pac-Man kind of made it more tolerable. They also used to do things like this. It would be like multiple games in one, but they were all kind of bad. It's kind of like any modern day game collection, where it's just, why? The fact that they were able to fit all of these on one console is pretty amazing in the first place, on one cartridge, but like, it means that they had to dumb them down, essentially, in a way. We also had this game right here. Name this game. This is one that I didn't know much about whenever I decided to buy it. I also did get it from that game store, but apparently this was actually like the running title was Name This Game, and there was some kind of like poll or vote to determine what the game's name will actually become, and then the later copies would be printed with the voted upon name. I don't know if that ever actually happened. This might be the only version of this game that's out. Not particularly valuable, but just a cool thing to have. I kind of... Like, you can't see this kind of thing happening with, like, today's market. I know I sound like I'm just collecting old crap here because I'm just talking about the Atari right now. I promise you, we got a... God, that's bright. A collection of game consoles and games to go through. Anyways, we have Donkey Kong. Woo! With this, like, old, like, yellow-white shell. I think it was supposed to be white, but, you know, age. What else do we have here? Demons to Diamonds. So this is basically like Space Invaders. It's another one of the like, Space Invader clones. I like this so much more. This might be my favorite Space Invaders-like game. It's not quite as challenging as some of the... I can't think of the name of... Galaga, that's the other one. I want to say it's quite as challenging as Galaga. It definitely gets there, but it feels so much more unique. Like, there's just more to it. We have Donkey Kong Jr. as well, and Firefighter. This game is just weird. I had to look up the controls to this, which if you have to look up the controls for a game that just has a joystick and one button, there's a problem. But this game was actually kind of fun, but kind of pointless. All the levels are like the same difficulty, but you're just kind of like going up a burning building on like this ladder that you kind of have to control, and saving people from dying in a fire. Like, I like it, but there's not really a whole lot to it. Then again, I guess set for most of these. Berserk, definitely one of the best Atari games in my opinion. I loved Berserk. We have Pitfall, which I also really suck at. This game is super beat up, as you can tell, but it's kind of fitting for what the game's theme is all about. Kangaroo. Yeah, I don't even remember this one. Alright, what else do we have here? Oh, yep, I saw it. Yeah, I bought E.T. just because of, you know, how much everybody claims E.T. is awful. It's not good, but I wouldn't say it's, like, the worst game ever. I also love that somebody... Okay, so the store that I buy these from, if they're missing the top label, they actually, like, write it on there with this, where's it at? Yeah, like on this copy of Dolphin, they get, like, a label maker-like thing, and they just kind of write it on this, like, sticker, so you can peel it off, it does no damage to the game. That means that whoever owned this copy of E.T., they were the ones that lost it, presumably, and just wrote it on with Sharpie. We have Q*bert. This is a really beat-up one. It's also one of the only games, might be the only game, that I've seen with this kind of shell, and that could explain this sticker. If they made this out of a different, like, quality material, if they use weaker adhesive, that could explain that a little bit. Yeah, it's super beat up. I really need to try and do something with this. Missile Command, of course, everybody knows about this game. What else we got here? Okay, well, we actually do have Space Invaders on here. We have Warlords, don't remember that one, and Pole Position, another game that I suck at. We have Asteroids, which is just... I don't know, man, it's hard to go back and play. The control scheme is just kind of weird with you just kind of floating around. Of course, I did get the original Pac-Man for the Atari, the one that was known for being just god-awful. I'm happy that I have it. Demon Attack, I don't remember this one. We have Game Program Combat. Yep. Encounter at L5, don't remember that one either. Cosmic Arc, I remember actually enjoying this game. You're actually, like, going to different planets and stuff. Like, it's actually really... really impressive for an Atari game, like the stuff that they tried to do with this game. Like, if you want to look for like the oldest version of No Man's Sky you can ever find, it's this, unless I'm thinking of the wrong game. We have a game of concentration. I don't think I've ever... I think the most I ever did with this was put it in my Atari and call it good. We have Human Cannonball. We have Super Breakout, and I saved my favorite game for last. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Berserk, and I love many of the other games in here. But this game is so underrated. We got Gopher by US Games. I feel like my brightness is still too high. Let me crank that down a little bit. There's that better. We have Gopher. This game is so simple. You have some carrots you're trying to defend, and you got a gopher that's trying to undefend them. He's basically going to try and crawl up from other sides, and you have to, like, kind of mat the dirt down, essentially, if I'm remembering correctly, to try and prevent him from getting up. So it's kind of like reverse Dig Dug. He's trying to dig his way up to the surface, while you're trying to patch the holes. and prevent him from getting there. He's a lot faster than you are, and you only have someone to carry it, so it's basically act as your lives. You're trying to defend all of them. So you might think, oh, well, there's a hole here, but he's not going for it. I should go to where he is. So if you try to go where he's at digging, and you don't block up this hole, he could run back there and get up that long before you can get back to it. It's a very simple game, but I legitimately probably have put a few hours into this thing. Okay, time for Generation 3. We're starting off with the NES, released back in 1985. And these two game consoles I have for Generation 3 happen to be my smallest collection. So, for the NES, we have Gauntlet 2. Fun fact, when I said this is my smallest collection, I really mean it. But at least we have some decent things in here, because we do have Gauntlet 2. I always like the Gauntlet series, even if they are rather challenging. I picked this one up back when I actually got... Oh, it's cracked. I don't even remember that. Back when I got my NES, so that way I could actually test it out more or less. So we have 8 Eyes, which I had no idea what it was, and I felt like trying it out. It is just a bad Castlevania clone. Like, it's not horrible, I don't hate it, but I would rather just play Castlevania. And our last of the NES, we actually have The Adventure of Link, Zelda 2. Somebody decided to do some writing on here. I still want to figure out how I can get the Sharpie off. If anybody has any idea how to get it off of this material, let me know. I'm not that big of a Zelda person, but it's still definitely an awesome game to have. Especially because it is one of 3 of my NES games. I'm not that big on the NES. Don't get me wrong, I am a big Nintendo nerd, but the NES and the SNES are just not that big for me. Now, the SNES collection actually makes me sad. Released in 1989, we have the original Game Boy. I played the living hell out of the Game Boy back in the day, but as I was a dumb child, I wasn't good at keeping up with my games, and they're all gone. All of my original Game Boy games I had as a kid no longer exist. I mean, my parents have some laying around somewhere. So we have 2. Starting off, we have, it's not even in English, Pokémon Green. I actually had 2 copies of this, so I actually bought this on eBay for like, God, it was like $5 or something like that, because this game isn't that expensive there, it's not that rare, but I just wanted to have it because, you know, with the original Pokemon release, if you don't know, we had Red and Blue, and then Yellow released later as almost like a collection. If you don't play Pokemon, that's the best way to put it. But in the US, in Japan, they actually had Red and Green, they didn't have Blue. Fun fact, this is just Pokemon Red, essentially. And then our Pokemon Blue is like their Pokemon Red. I can't remember exactly how it works. But yeah, I bought one of these. And then when I was buying something else from another seller, they also sent me a copy of this. So I had 2 copies of Green, one of which I got for free, and I just kind of gave it to my brother. And my only other Game Boy game is not even technically the original Game Boy, as it is the Game Boy Color. Yeah, I picked up Pokemon Pinball in box. I love this game. When I first bought this, I spent days, I think weeks, just playing through this over and over. So yes, the Game Boy Color is technically in the Game Boy category, as the Game Boy Color was more of a revision to the Game Boy, no matter what the Scott the Woz says.
The Game Boy Color is an odd duck, so many consider it to be a true successor to the original Game Boy. I'm one of those swine.
But yeah, this is, I do believe, complete in box. So we open up our little tab here, and we have the super long cartridge of Pokemon Pinball. Of course, you have this little thing that opens, so you can change out the battery for your saves. No, that's for the Rumble, it's not for the saves. I'm dumb. Which I don't really want my my Game Boy SP vibrating when I have this in it, so I kind of don't care for having that in there anyways. But I did play way too much of this, and this thing is in like amazing shape. Like it is nearly perfect. The box is in amazing shape too. There's like a couple, like it's like a little dent right there. Of course, this lip is folded and beat. That's how those lips always go. But like this is in like really good condition. But then, of course, it has the manual in here as well. I'm not going to be showing all of the inserts and stuff in my boxed games, but it's so hard to find games that release with cardboard boxes like the original Game Boy did, that it makes me happy whenever I actually can find them. On the upside, I do have a good Game Boy Advance collection when we get there down the road. Alright, we are now moving on to Generation 4. We are going to be starting off with the Genesis, released in 1989. And we're going to start off with the only 2 Genesis games that I have that are not in box. When it comes to the Genesis, I feel like there's no excuse not to have boxed copies unless you just really wanted the game, because they actually had plastic shells back then, and they were relatively good for people to hold on to. So we have Shinobi 3, definitely a very challenging game, but this is actually, I think, one of my first. I started when I first got my Genesis collection. I only had 2 games, and this was actually one of them. And I also eventually picked up Eternal Champions. This is just like a fighting game. It's not particularly great. And then the other game that started off my Genesis collection was Earthworm Jim. I loved this game as a kid. I played the ever-living hell out of Earthworm Jim. And I tried to go back and play this, and it's hard to go back to, man. Like, I know they ended up re-releasing the game, and I feel like the re-released version is probably more worth it than going out and picking this up on the Genesis. Like, it's still fun, don't get me wrong. I just can't get into it like I did when I was just a little boy. But it's still a classic game to me. This is one of the things that, like, when I think of retro gaming, this will likely be one of the first games that I list off. I still love this Jim. Look at that wormy boy. So I bought this and was very disappointed. We have Sword of Vermilion. So the only downside when it comes to Genesis is that while box games are relatively common, a lot of people do what I do, and they only really buy box games. And so the game store that I go to has a lot of Genesis games, most of which that are in box. Well, I'd say a bit less than they have loose. Most of them are sports games, because of course they are. And I really wanted to add on my Genesis collection. I was really big into it at the time, and so this was the only non-sports game that they had while I was there, and I was like, you know what, I'm picking this up. It was supposed to be, it's not really complete in box. It's supposed to come with a 106-page hint book. Yeah, sadly I don't have that. But it's supposed to be an RPG, and it's so dry. Like, you can look back here and tell, like, it definitely feels like it should be rather Final Fantasy-like. But, like, I never got that far in it, so maybe it gets good. If there are any fans of this out there, let me know. I remember one of the employees there I was talking to about it, and they said they actually do have people that are like, that actually mention, like, you know, you should go try out this game, it's really good, yada yada, if you want to play like an old RPG. It's just, maybe it gets good, but I never got far enough to get there. Of course, we have Mortal Kombat 3. If you're gonna buy a Mortal Kombat game, you're gonna get it through a Sega console, not through a Nintendo console, because you need that blood. But, yep, we have I believe it's complete in boxes. It does have the manual for Mortal Kombat 3. Again, not the best condition. Somebody definitely flipped through this book a few times. Ooh, that sound did not sound good. But, yeah, it's just a fighting game. Woo. I'm not that big a fan of God, my whole grasp on the English language just dropped there. I'm not that big of a fan of Sonic. Like, I like Sonic as a character. His games are much less so for me. I still play them, don't get me wrong. Sonic Unleashed, which is one of the, like, lowest rated Sonic games, I actually enjoyed the day levels. The night levels still sucked, don't get me wrong, it was still a bad game. But I played the hell out of that game and suffered through all the night levels because I really enjoyed the day levels. But then we have Sonic Spinball. I don't know why I bought this, but we have Sonic Spinball. I don't even remember what this is. Columns, I believe this is, yeah, it's literally just like Tetris, but Bejeweled, but Tetris. It actually is a competitive game. It is 2-player. I remember when I bought this. Oh, actually, I still have a receipt. Okay, so actually, my girlfriend bought this. It was her card that was on this receipt here. We had originally planned on, like, coming home and playing this, and it's like trying it out and, you know, having some fun with it. Like, basically called it date night to play this old Genesis game. But I don't think we played it for that long. Like, I feel like we tried it out, like, put a little... God, this is hard to get back in here. Put, like, a little bit of time into it, and then just kind of dropped it. So I can't really tell you if it's worth picking up and adding to your Genesis collection or not. Then we have Kid Chameleon. I had heard so much about this game, and I never played it as a kid. I never even had a Genesis as a kid. That's pretty beat up. But I really wanted to try it out, because I always heard about it. And it's actually pretty fun. The whole point is that you are basically a chameleon. Think of like playing as Kirby, essentially. This is just Kirby the human. Holy God. Anyways, yeah, these are all this same kid right here. You can like kill enemies and like take their abilities. It's fun. It really does feel like a Kirby game, even though I never really made that correlation when I first played it. In our last Genesis game, we have a pretty beat up copy of TNN Outdoors Bass Tournament 96. Yeah, I like fishing games. I don't own that many, because a lot of games have, like, fishing mini games in them, and that's usually enough to sate me. I don't usually need a full-on fishing game. I actually haven't played this. It was a more recent pickup for me. I think I tested it to make sure it works, aside from this. I also bought a few other games according to that receipt with this, some more interesting ones we'll get to later. But I don't think I played it a whole lot. I think I just liked the novelty of having a fishing game from 1996. And next up, we have, of course, released in 1991, the SNES. And we are starting off with Dragon's Lair. Another very challenging game. And I know these dust covers are amazing. Don't ask me where they came from. I got them for free, essentially. They came with something else. What the hell? Is that just like aluminum wrapping, or is that solder? It looks like somebody was soldering something like over this and some solder dropped down. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, we have Dragon's Lair. It's a pretty famous game. I'm sure most people here have heard of it at the very least. It is challenging, but the art style and everything else is just super unique and a fun game to pick up. We also have one of the first SNES games that I picked up a couple years ago when I first started collecting SNES. We have Killer Instinct, which I paid $10 for. Of course, this is one of those games that some people don't like having in their collection because most games for the SNES were gray and this one's black. Doesn't look quite as good on a shelf, but I'm still happy to have it. I like my fighting games, even though I'm not like MLG Pro at them. But yeah, these dust sleeves, I don't have as many as I would like, because if it were up to me, all of my SNES games would have these. But I don't have that big of a collection, so maybe I should stop making an excuse and just pick some of these up. We also have another favorite pickup of mine is Super Mario World. This thing is in really good condition. Of course, we got some fading back here. But like, this is another one like, this, ooh, that's nasty. Maybe I can clean that out. If you can't tell, I don't tend to refurbish the games that I get in. Maybe I should start doing that. I'll just like dedicate a couple of videos like cleaning up some of these games and like that crud that's like growing on the side of this cartridge. If you guys are interested, let me know. That's actually not a terrible idea. Just like refurbishing and like cleaning up like old games and controllers and crap. Then we have something else that I am more than happy to own. We have the Game Genie. These cheat devices have gotten expensive. So, fun little backstory for you guys. A large amount of the retro game consoles that I own, I did not have as a kid. Well, I might have had them, but they're not the same ones. Most of the things I had throughout my childhood were not things that I was able to keep for many different reasons. We won't be going there. But I found a seller years ago who was selling a large collection of game consoles with a fair amount of games, and it really did kickstart my interest in getting into game collecting. And the Game Genie was a part of that bundle. I don't know exactly how much it's worth. Of course, I'll have the price for this one down here. But these have gotten expensive. I don't know if this one itself is considered to be expensive, but I like having these cheat devices. It can make some of these old games just that much more fun. I loved playing around with these as a kid, like Action Replay and the Game Genie. And I don't know, it makes me happy that any SNES game I pick up today, I can still have fun by messing with the game's code. Oh, I don't know what this is, but it is super yellow. Please be a game I don't care about. Yeah, Aladdin. God, look at the yellowing on this. It can be a little hard to tell on camera because people can have different camera settings. By comparison to our good copy of Mario here, yeah, that thing got a little yellow. All right, I'm going on for too long about some of these games. We have Speedy Gonzales. Yep, that's one worth skipping. We also have the original Star Fox. It's definitely a lot of fun to go back and play. I love the Star Fox franchise, but the N64 game is better. And the last one, probably my favorite game to have in this collection, That's right, we have the original Donkey Kong Country. I would still love to get 2. This one's also in good condition, aside from this crap right here. I just need to get, like, I don't know if alcohol is going to be enough for some of this crud. So I'm hoping that maybe, oh, what is this? Microplay Video Game Store. I did not go there. This is not the store that I go to. Removal of this label will provide evidence of internal tampering and will void warranty. Was this an old game store? Because, like, looking at this, I would think it's like a modern, store that's open today. But that would infer that this is like almost like a GameStop from back in the day. Either way, maybe some adhesive remover to work on that won't destroy it. I don't know. But the game still works, and I'm more than happy to have it. Fun trivia for you guys. This game looks like the character models are in 3D. They're not. They actually did render all of them in 3D, but the SNES couldn't handle that. So Rare, being the amazing company that they were, I know they still exist, but they're not the same Rare. They rendered all of the models in 3D, and then basically just took screenshots of them. They basically just took photos of them in 3D, doing the animations that they made for them, and then made those screenshots of them replace their character model in the game. So it looks like the character models are 3Ds, or they're 3Ds, but in reality, they're basically just a slideshow. Before we move to the 5th console generation, thank you for watching this far into the video. I assume it's going to be pretty long. But one thing really quick, you're probably wondering what I'm going to be doing with Junk Seeker. Why am I doing a video game thing on a channel that I never really talk about games? Well, the original plan for this channel was to do a lot of Pokemon-like stuff, but as well as doing games. And I like doing like any kind of collectibles. I collect things, it's what I do. I also did game collecting. And I don't really know a good way to implement that into this video, or into this channel, and I think I found a good way to do it. So, starting soon, I'm going to be starting a new series that are recent game pickups. Basically, games that I picked up within a recent amount of time, as in it's not going to be like a monthly basis necessarily, because I'm not always buying games. And basically, I'll be showing what games I recently picked up, as well as a brief review, like a first-time impression of said game. It could be things all the way as new as the Switch and the PlayStation and the Xbox, all the way down to the Atari. Whatever I pick up will be in those videos. So if you're interested in an idea, let me know down below. It's still an idea that I'm considering doing. I have some things for the first video ready to go, but I would like to get ideas if you guys actually want to see that. Anyways, we are starting off the PlayStation with the PlayStation 1, released in 1995, my birth year, and ironically starting the 5th generation. So this is the only console released the year I was born, and that also makes sense why after this console is why we start seeing my game collection getting bigger, because they were games that I played as a child and would like to go back and do again. This collection isn't that big, but we have Cool Borders too. Hey look, it's me! Hi! Yeah, so Cool Borders 2 isn't really a great game, but I loved it as a kid, and I wanted to go back and play it, and it really doesn't hold up that well, but I enjoyed it as a kid and really wanted to go back to it. Next, we have Dragon Ball Ultimate Battle 22. It says that this is... okay, no, I'm going crazy. Anyways, it says 22. I don't know what that's about. Were there 22 Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle games? Most of the Dragon Ball games I know about are the Budokai or Budokai Tenkaichi series. Yeah, okay, it's a bit more scratched up than I thought it was, but nothing bad. It's still more than playable. I actually don't recall playing this one, though. I might have put a little bit of time into it. This one, I literally got, because again, some of the games you're going to see in my collection are going to be like, why does he own that? Because I get it from bundles. I think this came with the Dragon Ball game, I believe. Maybe it came with Cool Borders. But, like, if I wanted Cool Borders, I had to get this with it because of eBay, and why would I not? It's something else to add to the collection, even if I have no intent on playing it. We also have Crash Bandicoot Warped. I can't remember if this was one of the highly rated or lowest rated Crash games. There was one from this era that people didn't like at all. This might be it. I don't remember. We also have Need for Speed High Stakes, the only game, technically, that I have in case. I think this came when I bought my PlayStation 1, I got this. It's another one of these like super reflective, there's my face again games. Oh, and there's the back. And my last PS1 game, I only bought because I needed the case. You'll see later in the video, we're a couple consoles away from then, but we have the front cover for Dave Mira Freestyle BMX, along with the game and the instruction manual that also serves as the front cover, because that's how PlayStation 1 games work. I still love that. It's a really cool idea. I need to get it in some kind of DVD case. I know I don't have it in one yet, and I really should. But there's another game that I bought that was mostly complete in box, but it didn't have a case. And I needed, well, I had a case, but it was beat to hell and back. And so I needed a case to put it in, so I went to the game store, and I looked for the lowest priced PS1 game that I could find that was in a good condition case. And that ended up being this boy who donated his PlayStation 1 case to replace another games. And 1 year later, we get to one of my favorite consoles to collect for. Even though my collection isn't the biggest, it's getting there. The Nintendo 64. I know, I paid $10 for a Glover. You can shoot me if you want to, but I'll die happy knowing that I died with a $10 copy of Glover. We also have Star Wars Episode 1 Eraser, again from my local game store. It's where a lot of these are going to be from. We have Wave Race 64, which, as I learned recently, it actually is a sequel to another game, so it kind of makes sense it would have that on there. Oh, I forgot to mention these. So all of my N64 games, for the most part, I have these stickers on the top. If you don't collect 64, you might not know this, but they don't have top labels, which when these are on a shelf, makes it real hard to tell what game you're looking for. You just pull them all out until you find the one that you want. These are super cheap. You can get them on eBay and on Etsy and wherever else people sell things. And they make it so easy to tell what game you're looking at. And like they do it in a very clean, very fitting style for each game. I still have a sheet here. You can buy it as like a full copy. You don't have to buy like one at a time. So I have every N64 game on these sleeves here. And my goal would be to hopefully one day use every one of these. I need to get back to collecting 64 games. Anyways, we have Lego Racers, which we actually picked up, I think, this year. It's actually a fun game. I played it a little bit as a kid, and it's just more fun to customize your kart than actually race, if I'm being honest, but it's not bad. We also have a Japanese copy of Mario Kart 64 in very good condition. Let me explain something to you guys real quick that want to play some good N64 games. If you look here on the back, this is the whole reason that you can't play Japanese games on your American N64. We got slots here, they got slots there. So you can't insert this into your console, it won't go in. All you gotta do is you open up your console, you take the little bracket that these slide into, it's made out of plastic, and you just either file it down or cut it off with a Dremel, which is what I did. You cut off the little nubs right here that are in that cartridge holder, and now you can slot Japanese games into your console. Congratulations, you just broke the region locking. It's super easy to do, even if you have no experience at all with technical work, with taking apart consoles or repairing devices. It's still super easy to do, and I recommend that you do it. So that way, if you want to play Mario Kart 64, but you don't want to shell out God knows how much it's worth right now, you can get a Japanese copy for much less and still enjoy the game, just not quite in English. I also don't put my labels up here. I only want those for the English copy games, so my goal is to eventually get this in English as well. Speaking of, we also have Pokémon Stadium 3. You're probably wondering what the hell I'm talking about. There were 3 Pokemon Stadium games. The US only got 2. Our Pokemon Stadium 1 was Japan's Pokemon Stadium 2. Our Pokemon Stadium 2 was Japan's Pokemon Stadium 3. I didn't know that when I bought this. I thought I was buying the unreleased one. No, Pokemon Stadium 1 in Japan is the unreleased one for us. So I just happen to now have 2 copies of Pokemon Stadium 2. We also have Quest 64. If you want to play one of the worst games on the N64, there you go. We have a fighting game, Bio Freaks, a game that I could really just do without. Nuclear Strike 64, not for me. We have the original Pokemon Snap. Speaking of, go check out that channel right there. That is my original channel. It's actually smaller than this one now because content on there takes forever to produce. I'm I'm working on upping my content dramatically, which makes it take even longer to produce videos. But I actually did a full video on this game comparing it to New Pokemon Snap. I played all the way through this, and I played most of the way through New Pokemon Snap, and did a comparison video on what's changed, what's upgraded, and what's downgraded. Even if you're not that interested in the differences, it's still a fun video. Go check it out. I spent forever on it. That channel, right there.
What the f*** is that?
Wonderful. We also have Yoshi's Story, another one of my favorite N64 games. I need to stop rambling. It's just a favorite of mine. We have Tetrisphere. I bought this because I'm dumb. I'm not good at Tetris. I don't like Tetris. And this is just harder Tetris. We have Tarzan. I'm real excited about this one. And for the real excitement, probably my best game in the collection, we have a boxed copy of Hey You, Pikachu. This box is in pretty good condition. This side is the worst part of it. Like, it had tape over it at one point, and this was just like torn apart. But yes, this is a boxed copy of Hey You, Pikachu. I believe it is complete in box. There might be parts that are missing. We're gonna pull it out, and you guys can tell for yourselves. Because I think the only thing it came with was the microphone here. Well, okay, I am missing the sponge that would go on this. The noise filter thing, or the hell it's called. But yeah, this right here, this little microphone plugs into that, and it lets you talk to Mr. Pikachu. And of course I have the game here. I don't keep it in the box because A, the box doesn't hold it that securely, and B, I just want to have it with the rest of my N64 game collection. I'm stupid happy to have this. I know the box is a little beat, but, well, more than a little, but I got it for a very good price, for way less than what I should have been paying for it.
And that is it for the Nintendo 64.
We are now moving on to the 6th generation, and this is where things start to really kick off for me. Even if the first one doesn't quite hit it, we have the Dreamcast starting off in 1999. I never owned a Dreamcast, like most of America, but I have gotten into collecting these games, and I'll say, Dreamcast games can get expensive. That's the main reason this collection is small. It's not I don't like the Dreamcast and its funky controller, it's that the Dreamcast games can be kind of expensive, and it's not really my priority to collect for. But we do have Pac-Man Maze Madness in a non-OEM case here, obviously. We have Flag to Flag. I don't know why I have this. We also have Coaster Works. I was assuming this would be pretty similar to a lot of like Roller Coaster Tycoon style games. It pretty much is, but it's for the PlayStation 1 and kind of dumbed down. I'm sorry, why did I say PlayStation 1? It's just because of the cases. It's for the Dreamcast and kind of dumbed down. Next, we have a game in a super beat up case, but the game is still in good condition. We have Star Wars Demolition. Again, I can't tell you this game is really that worth picking up, as I don't have a whole lot of game time in it. I know I played it for a while, probably a day or two, but I don't remember much about it. And then we have the 2 greatest games in my Dreamcast collection. One of which, I'm sorry to say, I couldn't get that into. We have Sonic Adventure. I only paid $20 for this thing. Surely it's worth more by now, because this game is like seen as like not really the, but a peak Sonic game. Of course, it is complete in box. That's not hard to tell. You can tell if a PS1 game is, well, it keeps saying PS1 or Dreamcast game is complete in box just by looking at the outside, because as mentioned previously with the PS1, the cover art is the manual. Alright, I think I have Sonic lined up right there. Yeah, I do like this case though, because you have like the Sonic CD right here actually lines up with it, with the actual Sonic in the back, and he's like kind of curling up with his hand reaching under his crotch. Good moves there, Sonic. But I couldn't get that into the game just because of all of the glitches. Like, I know it's
the stereotype for Sonic games. I'm not even trying to make fun of it here. I wanted to enjoy this game, but I couldn't get, like, there's like, I think it was a 30 or 40 minutes into the game. I got stuck and I can't get past it because there's like a turn you have to do on like this running stage. And when I go to make the turn, he only does it occasionally. Most of the time he just flies straight through it and off into the water and dies. And like, even if I make it past it, there's another part that can kill me. Like, it's very buggy, but I always hear amazing things about it. And now I kind of want to go back and play it again and try to get past it, because I really want to try out this game. And our last one is probably one of the more valuable games in my whole collection. Mostly because it's real weird. Yeah, we got Seaman. This is the game I told you about, where I had to take that PS1 bike game and get a donor case for it. So this is the case meant for that PS1 game. I promise you I have it. God, it's in my Dreamcast. Here it is. It was in my Dreamcast. I'm not trying to lie to you guys here. There it be. This was my most recent played Dreamcast game. If you haven't played it, it's a really, really slow game to get started, but it's kind of like Tamagotchi. You're raising an animal. In this case, it's a mixture between a fish and a person, and it's really weird, and like they evolve kind of in weird ways, and like you have to like keep the temperature correct for them and food, and it's really weird. But I was originally planning on doing a video on this. This game was like $80. I do have the microphone. It's just in a box and I have a pile of games in the way of it right now. But it's kind of like Hey You Pikachu, where you're actually communicating with the Seaman. But you also use the controller to control things in its environment, like its tank and, like I said, the temperature and all that. The controls are a little funky, but it's a pretty fun, goofy little game. But yeah, the case that it came with was beat to all hell, and I didn't even want to put that like $2 BMX game in here, just because the case was really bad. Despite that, the game is still in good condition, despite it being in a really crappy case. When I bought it on eBay for a pretty good price, it was still super expensive. The seller, like, I don't know what he did. Maybe he swapped its case or something, but it did not look that beat up. And oh holy God, it is finally time. In the year 2000, arguably my favorite game console. I always say that because I don't want to say that and end up proving myself wrong later, because I end up liking more games on a different console. But arguably my favorite console, the PlayStation 2 released. And we're going to start off with the games I don't have in case. 90% of them are. We have Phantasy Star Universe. I got this for a whole $5. I had never played a Phantasy Star game before. I bought this, I think, last year. I put a decent amount of time into it. It's not a bad game. I don't know how representative it is of the rest of the Phantasy Star franchise, as a lot of those are like online-based games. I did play that MMO that they released for about a week or two. Like the new MMO they released. And most of their games are online-based. So this one was a little weird to be on the PS2. But it was definitely fun pickup for only $5, even if it doesn't have a case. We have Super Monkey Ball Adventure. Never been too big into these. My brother plays this game like it's made out of cocaine. We have Inuyasha Feudal Combat. I am a huge fan of Inuyasha. It's my favorite anime ever. I had another Inuyasha game for the PS2 back in the day. I bought this knowing nothing about it, hoping it would be similar. It's not. This is like a fighting game. It's not as good. The other PS2 game I think is fairly expensive, and I really want it. It's a great RPG. We have Super Dragon Ball Z. Can't really comment on the quality. We have 007 Agent Under Fire, the game that started off my addiction. Yeah, I started playing this. I picked it up for $13. It, of course, isn't complete in box, but I've never played a Persona game, and I always heard about them, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna buy this. They had it in like their glass shelf because, like, you know, it's a good game. Played the hell out of it. I then learned about Persona 4 Golden, which is a game that released on the Vita, which I own, that was basically this, but like amped up, and a lot of things were changed. They made the game a little bit easier, in my opinion, which is but they improved so much with Golden, and so I never actually beat this, because I ended up picking it up again on the Vita. I actually I bought it digitally which is a weird choice, but it's... God, I loved this game. We have the original Devil May Cry. I think I own every Devil May Cry now, but 5 I only own through Steam. Dynasty Warriors 5 Empires. This is actually one from my childhood. I don't know what happened to the case. I think my dog chewed the hell out of it. But I love Dynasty Warriors franchise. I've been playing them since I was a little kid, and I'm still super into them. And my last game that's not in a case is we have Mercenaries. Yeah, it's okay. Now, going down the line, we have my favorite fighting franchise ever, Soul Calibur. This is Soul Calibur 3, quite obviously. Actually, I had 2 copies of this. When me and my girlfriend, were first dating each other, we were a little bit into the relationship. A gift I got for her is I actually bought her a PlayStation 2 Slim, with a bunch of PlayStation 2 games, including Soul Calibur 3. Even though I already owned it, I got her own copy. Just something to keep her entertained, you know, because it was something fun for us to do together whenever I'd go visit her. She lived an hour and a half away from me. Oh, that's good. Just interrupting my video with a child abduction. How dare you? No, I'm kidding. That's a serious thing, and I'm sorry for making fun of it. We've been having so many child abductions around here lately. Can I just say that, where I live, it is getting ridiculous. The amount of missing people, within, my county and a couple of counties over is skyrocketing. I don't know why, and it's kind of terrifying. Anyway, Soul Calibur 3 is a freaking awesome game, and yeah, when my girlfriend eventually moved in with me, we had extra copies of a few games, and so I actually went and sold them and kept the better conditioned copies. So this isn't the one that I had as a kid, as that one I believe also had a dog biting into it. But we kept the copy that I had gotten for her. Don't ask me why. We have the original Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi from some used game store with more stickers down there. These things are impossible to get off, but the old Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi games were so much fun. Oh, we have Devil May Cry 3, the best game in the franchise. I don't care what you have to say. This is actually the special edition as well. We also have Devil May Cry 2. This thing is heavy. Oh, hold on. Disc 1 and Disc 2. Was this both the game, or is one of these an extra thing? I don't remember. I never actually beat 2. I did play it, but I never ended up beating it. Not a bad price. I don't know what it's worth now. We have a sealed copy of Destroy Humans 2. I don't even remember what the reasoning is, but I love this game, and I ended up buying it on eBay, and it came in this thing, and I just never took it out. It's not actually sealed. I think the seller listed it as being sealed. That isn't how they sealed PS2 games, silly. My all-time favorite PlayStation 2 game, we have Ratchet Deadlock, the greatest PlayStation game ever made. I'm not even kidding, this is my favorite. I have a video that's going to be coming out on that channel that goes into why this is my all-time favorite PS2 game. I know it's weird, it's a spin-off of Ratchet and Clank. It's not an official, mainline... Well, it is canon, but it's not, part of the mainline series. But I hold this thing up on a fucking pedestal. And, arguably my second favorite, we have Dragon Quest VIII, which is actually in the original cardboard thing that it came with. It's a little beat up. I did buy this, I think, on eBay as well, because me and my girlfriend got into talking about Dragon Quest. I started just talking about it with her, and it made me want to play 8. And I went to my game collection and was like, why do I not own this? And so I bought it that night. It does come with a demo for Final Fantasy XII, another great game. But then, of course, there is Dragon Quest VIII. I don't think they ever released a version that didn't come with a demo for Final Fantasy XII. I don't really know why they did that, but they did do. But yeah, this game is amazing, and it comes with a playable demo manual, which is really weird. Think about today. Most games don't have manuals. But they sent a manual for a demo that came as a bonus in a full-priced game. This game was doubling up on the demo quota. Today, doubling up on the demo quota is adding a demo to your game. Why do I keep saying demo? Replace almost every time I said demo with manual. Alright, we have another stack. I have so many PS2 games. We have the Capcom Classics Collection, which is honestly not a bad collection. If we look here, it comes with Street Fighter II, 1942, Ghosts and Goblins, Mercs, Legendary Wings, Commando, Bionic Commando, Forgotten Worlds, Gunsmoke, Ghouls and Ghosts, Sun, Section Z, and Final Fight. There are some good games in here, man. Oh yeah, plus 8 more, whatever the hell that means. Oh yeah. I forgot they used to give these things out. I probably should blur that, though, because, of relation to where I live. Anyways, there was a thing in here that I can't say what it was because it would kind of dox me, because it's right down the road from where I live. But yeah, we have the Cop Kim Kumpoo. We have Battlefield 2 Modern Combat, super exciting. We have another game collection. We have the Atari Anthology, which is 18 games and 67 Atari 2600 games, which is more than I have. Gravatar, Millipede, Super Breakout, Video Pinball, Yar's Revenge, great game, Warlords, then Asteroids, Battlezone, Centipede, Missile Command, Tempest, and more. Yeah, it's just it's 85 games. And honestly, a really cool box. It's a holographic. I mean, I collect Pokemon cards. All you gotta do is add holographic to your box art and I'll buy it. Dynasty Warriors 5. This is my original childhood copy. This is the game that started my addiction. I got way too into Dynasty Warriors. I actually got it while visiting my dad in Ohio as a little boy, and proceeded to not talk to my dad for the rest of the week and play Dynasty Warriors 5 because I got way too into it. Okay, he was actually hanging out with me while I was doing it. He actually thought it was kind of cool too. I also had an Action Replay at the time, and like day one of owning this game, I started cheating in it. So, you know, real great way to start my Dynasty Warriors addiction. This is still probably my favorite Dynasty Warriors game. I don't know if it deserves to have that title. It's mostly just nostalgic. We have Monster Jam. Don't know why. Yep, it's actually in there. This thing is so beat up, but it's one of those games that I got as like an extra. We had Lord of the Rings Return of the King. I didn't buy this one because I wanted it. It just kind of came as a bundle. God, even the top of the disc is scratched. So there's no way in hell this thing... Oh my god. I feel like I knew this was like this. I feel like I knew about it and just kind of chose to block it out of my memory. You know what? I'm sure it still works. We have Kingdom Hearts 2, another one of the games. Actually, no, it's Kingdom Hearts 1 I bought a copy of because you have to kind of play it in order. Was this the old GameStop stickers? Anyway, it was $40 back then used. Somebody else bought it for $10. I don't know what I paid for it. I don't think it was that price. But yeah, we have Kingdom Hearts 2, another great game with a confusing story that really isn't that confusing if you just watch a YouTube video. We have Final Fantasy X-2. I actually own 2 copies of this. I bought this because I thought I didn't own the game. I did own the game. I owned it loose. It didn't have the case, so I ended up selling the loose version and keeping this one. If you haven't played X-2, even if you haven't played 10, if you've played 10, it's worth it. This game is amazing. If you haven't played 10 and you just want a good RPG, I'm sorry to all the Final Fantasy X fans, I like this more. The story is good, don't get me wrong. The story to this isn't quite as good as 10. 10 has such a better story. But as far as gameplay, I probably sink hundreds of hours into this game. The gameplay is absurd. Alright, more PS2 games. We have Lego Star Wars the video game. I actually tried to pick up number 2 on the GameCube, and I was so excited to find it, and it didn't work, and I sold it back. We have Naruto Ultimate Ninja 4, Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja 4. These are also more great fighting games. I actually like the Naruto games so much more than the Dragon Ball ones. This is before they moved on to like another style, but this was another just absolutely amazingly fun game. We have the original Ratchet and Clank, which you might have seen in some of my videos. I actually got this a long time ago. The game store I keep talking about, they actually used to have a different location, and I actually bought this there my first time I ever went in, and I don't think it ever came with the I'm sure it came with the manual. I don't have it. But it still had inside of it, sorry about the bad angle here, a poster that actually came with the game originally. It was still, like, folded up and looked like it had never been used. And it's been hanging on my wall for years. I'm actually really happy to have it. We have Xenosaga, a really good game that is entirely too hard. I honestly have to believe that the difficulty is what killed the franchise. They ended up making an anime of Xenosaga as well. The story is great. It's a little weird. It's not for everybody, but I got super into Xenosaga for a while. Actually, in Soul Calibur 2, you can unlock this character. Soul Calibur 3, you can actually... it was the first game where you can make your own character, and if you played this game for hundreds of hours and did thousands of fights, you would eventually unlock all of the armor that makes up this character, Cosmos. And then you would just have to get the body and shit correct, which you could just look up how to do that, which is what I did. really hard to unlock just to basically be able to make a custom character that is basically, it looks exactly like Cosmos, even if it doesn't fight like her. Then we have the original God of War. It's the greatest hits edition, so I believe it's going to be worth less. That is a beautiful looking manual. We have Mortal Kombat Armageddon. I still think this is the best Mortal Kombat game. The main reason I like Mortal Kombat... Wow, I'm missing a lot of crap here. I have the bonus content DVD? Surely that's in my PlayStation 2. Surely. I know I own this game. Either way, large roster. This is, I think... I don't know. Yeah, this is the premium edition. I know I have the game somewhere. It's probably in my PlayStation. That or dumb me has it in another game case. Did you think you were done with the PS2? No, we have Naruto Ultimate Ninja 2. Back when these games were actually like a 2D fighter. I actually think the first Ultimate Ninja was far superior. So here it is. Yeah, I'm sad to say this is my original copy. This, like, tear and all of that, yeah, it's pretty beat. Don't get me wrong, 2 was arguably better, but 1 had, like, a really cool, like, collectible in it, where, like, you had to do, like, I think it was 100 fights or something like that. If you did 100 fights between Naruto and Sasuke, you would unlock, like, special artwork of those two characters. Then if you did it with any other random pair, Gaara and Orochimaru, you would get special artwork for those two characters. Basically like fighting each other. It was really hard to do, and me and my brother worked together, and we did eventually get every single one of them. Then we have Xenosaga Episode 2. There was only one other, I believe. I think there was a third game released. Or maybe it was that there... God! Okay, no, that one has to be the one that's in my PlayStation 2. Because this is actually a gift for my brother. I've only had it for a couple years, so I know I have that. It's probably in another case or something. I need to get better at not doing that. Originally sold from GameStop, though. That's how I need her to take off their stupid stickers. Strike Force Bowling, Spy Hunter. We have Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 2. I actually never played this one as a kid, but I love the first one. Pitfall. Then we have the Naruto Uzumaki Chronicles. This is the original one. There ended up being 2 of these. They're not like the regular fighting games. If you haven't played them, check it out. I know the art is weird, but it's actually like an RPG. It's not turn-based, though, but it's a really interesting RPG where, like, the skill board you have to customize and all that is just super unique. It's a very unique and fun game, and the second one's really good, too. We also have the Final Fantasy X right here, which I am also happy to have. We have the original Kingdom Hearts right here, missing the manual. And then, for some reason, I own these. iToy Anti-Grav. iToy Play, iToy Play, iToy Play. That was due to an eBay. I forgot my camera likes to time out. I don't know why I ended up losing on that. 3 copies of iToy Play. My camera just kind of stopped recording. iToy Groove, which is still sealed. iToy Play 2, and iToy Operation Spy. I wanted to try and get all the games in this collection. I still plan on doing it. All of the iToy games, as there really aren't many at all. I was going to do a video on all of the iToy games. Like, all of them would have their own video. And then I started reworking my main channel, and I haven't completed that. I think my plan now is when I complete the collection, I might do a video on just like all of the games now that my channel is actually producing good content, just very slowly, and I haven't had the time recently to post on there. I promise you I'm working on it. The channel will be coming back full swing soon. And that's all my PS2 games, I think. I might have some games laying around somewhere. This isn't the only console I think that about. I might have games in other rooms, or maybe they fell behind my TV stand. So I'm gonna be missing some games, but I believe that's all my PS2 games. And good God, was it a lot. Okay, the PS2 took a while, and my camera started to overheat, so I let it cool down, took me a little bit of a break, and you know what, we're gonna do one of these. This is what the channel's all about anyways. We're gonna do an Evolving Skies pack, just to celebrate making it this far. And before we move on to another amazing console I don't have quite enough games for, in my opinion. 3 to the front, get rid of that thing. And we have an Avalugg Snowleaf badge. We have the Gordy. Litleo, Eevee, another beautiful card. Cutafly, Hitmonchan, Lotad, Aroma Lady as a reverse. And on the end, okay, that's a new one for me. We have the Medicham V. Yeah, if you don't normally watch my channel, this isn't too far off from what we normally do. I just like to throw those in videos once in a while, mostly if they're non-Pokemon videos, just to kind of satiate my usual subscriber base. But I'm not just doing Pokemon all the time anymore. I'd like to do more things, and still a heavy focus on Pokemon. Alright, so continuing the 6th generation. Releasing in 2001, we have the Nintendo GameCube. We actually have 2 other consoles that released in the exact same year as well, but if my memory serves correct, the GameCube was the first one. So first off, we have games I don't have in cases. We have Future Tactics. I only bought it for $6, and I gotta say, this is actually a fun game for the price that I paid. GameCube can be kind of hard to collect for. It can definitely get expensive. But this game, I gotta say, it's worth picking up. If you like Fire Emblem or Advanced Wars and other... Actually, you know, it's not even really good to compare it that way. It's not like the same kind of top-down tactics. It's not like Final Fantasy Tactics. I think Psycom is probably the best thing to compare this to. It is definitely most like Psycom. It is a fun game. We also have Blood Rain in one of these really cool little Game Boy cases. I actually like these little mini versions of the good-sized disc holders. And we have a Naruto game, Naruto Clash of Ninja. I actually didn't like this game that much as a kid. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad. I would go over to a friend's house who had this and play it with him, because I never actually owned a GameCube. And like, anytime I would play it, I'm like, yeah, this game isn't awful, but I'd rather be playing one of the Ultimate Ninja games. Those games are so much better. Like, this game isn't awful, but it's not Ultimate Ninja, man. Ultimate Ninja, man. This is actually a more recent pickup of mine. Not recent enough that I'm going to save it, because spoiler, well, not really much of a spoiler, disclaimer, I do own some games that are not going to be in this video, because I bought them recently, and I wanted to save them in case I decide to do that recent pickup video. But anyways, this thing is somewhat recent, not that recent. It was a few months ago. So we have Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. I bought it because I was, a friend of mine is huge in one of the Lord of the Rings games, and I was always told that there was like 1 or 2 really good ones. And I didn't know if this was it or not, so I just kind of bought it hoping that it was. And so far, I haven't really got to spend much time with it, so it's a little too early to tell. Now we have a game that we know is bad. Dragon Ball Sagas. Yeah, I mostly bought this game as a joke. I believe it is still the lowest rated Dragon Ball game. Maybe I'm wrong on that fact. But I paid $15 for it, so it was a pretty pricey joke. Me and my lady friend sat down and played this one day. We only played it once, because believe me, it is not worth a second sit down. Then we have Drome Racers. This is definitely something I got from a bundle or something. I'm not that big into racing games, but we have one here. Another really highly rated game that I never really got that into. We have Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones. If you haven't played it, think kind of like an Assassin's Creed meets God of War. But not quite as serious as God of War. It is Ubisoft, so the Assassin's Creed inspiration definitely makes sense. Actually, the first Assassin's Creed game was supposed to be a Prince of Persia game, and then at one point they eventually swapped it over and made it into its own IP. But yeah, we have Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones, which is a game that I always hear about as being worth playing, but I never played that much of. In this game, this next game, it gets some crap that it doesn't deserve. We have Star Fox Assault. I always heard that this was a bad Star Fox game, and despite somebody destroying it by removing a sticker, I never take those stickers off most of the time, because that looks worse than just having a GameStop sticker in the corner. Oh, I think that's also in my GameCube. Okay, I am definitely missing some games, because it's not in my GameCube, but this is the GameCube game that I played the most of. I thought it would be in... Oh, it's in my Wii. Okay, well, you'll have to trust me on it. Maybe I'll pull it out later. I can't power my Wii right now, because the outlet that my game consoles are hooked up to is currently being taken up by, these lights and this camera and crap like that. But anyways, it's a great game. I don't know why it gets so much crap. I actually really enjoy it. I will say the ground levels do take a little bit of adjustment to, but they're fun. Then we have the Sonic Mega Collection. Definitely not the biggest thing for me. Like I said, I'm not that big of a Sonic fan. I'm not one of those people who are like, it's the worst franchise ever and screw the Sonic fandom. Okay, actually, the Sonic fandom can go fuck themselves. But it's okay. I'm okay with Sonic. I really do like him as a character, and I like the world more than I enjoy the games personally. But that is all of my GameCube games. Okay, releasing in the same year as the GameCube, Microsoft finally decided to enter the scene with the original Xbox. You could have called it the Xbox One, but Microsoft doesn't know how to name their consoles. We have, let's go through all of the games that aren't in discs, in cases first. We have Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex, and that's it. But I do have a pretty massive Xbox collection. I actually think it's bigger than the PS2 collection, mostly because it's a bit cheaper to collect for. Although you do get... What happened here? So, EB Games right here, we have electronics something here. Somebody selling it at like a yard sale. Returnable within something if the seal is broken. More Mortal Kombat X tag on there. It's not Mortal Kombat. This is black. What happened? Anyways, the original Xbox is just like a cheap console to collect for. And actually, whenever I bought that console bundle I told you about, that guy had a fair amount of original Xbox games. So that's where a fair amount of this came from. But we do have Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance right here. We have the Platinum Hits of Mercenaries, Playground of Destruction. Also, if you were wondering, no, this is not a 360 game, even if it looks like it. It's Platinum Hits. That's why it looks like a 360 game. We have Mech Assault. I actually had like two copies of this. One was so beat up. I had no interest in it, and I had 2 copies, so I had less interest in it. And so I went to my local game store, and I was like, hey, this probably isn't worth anything. You can just have it, and just gave it to them. And I'm pretty sure they just threw it away, because it was unlikely to be playable. We also have the limited edition Mech Assault 2 Lone Wolf. Again, I don't know much about the Mech Assault franchise. These just kind of came with my Xbox. This is a fun one, and I actually still haven't tried it out. It's the Xbox Music Mixer. I bought it for $4. Karaoke Interactive Media Player, PC to Xbox photo and music transfer, which is actually pretty cool. A photo album viewer and 2D and 3D audio and visual effects, which is kind of weird that that is a selling point, and so is the media player. The Xbox already had built a music player with a visualizer that you could do really fun and cool things with. I bought this because I had never heard of it, and I saw it at... I was going to start saying the name of the store. It's called Control Freak. Have fun finding it. It's actually, to be fair, I should be advertising for them because it's a great freaking store. You know what? It is public knowledge that I live in or around the Pigeon Forge area of Tennessee. So screw it. If you're ever in Pigeon Forge, that's where Control Freak is at, alright? The word is out. Control Freak is my favorite game store. It actually is. Those guys are super cool. But yeah, I bought this there because I'd never heard of it, and it looked like it'd be funny. We got a really beat up copy of Lynx 2004. I don't know if it's so beat up because whoever owned it has used it so much that it just got beat up over time because they just really liked golfing, or because they didn't care about it and just kept it in terrible condition. I like to believe that they really liked Lynx 2004. Then we have the game that started off my Soul Calibur addiction, sort of. We have Soul Calibur 2. I actually got into Soul Calibur because I played a demo for Soul Calibur 3. Oh, it's on the disc. I played a demo for Soul Calibur 3 and loved it. And I really wanted to pick up Soul Calibur, and I found Soul Calibur 2, and I don't think it was this exact copy, it might have been, in a store, and I don't think so because of that, but I picked it up because I thought it would be just like Soul Calibur 3, and it kind of is. I really like the character creator in the demo for 3, and I didn't know that wasn't in this. I actually might have just been dumb enough to think it was the exact same game. I didn't realize that is a 2. Then we have another really weird one here. We have, as whoever sold this liked to point out, double DOUSLE. Yep, double game for $20. I doubt however much I paid for it was that high. But it's Sega GT 2002. and Jet Set Radio. That was a pretty good flip there. Yeah, so Jet Set Radio is one of those games that like I really struggle to get into, man. I hear all these good things about it, and I watched a friend of mine play it as a kid, and it looked like a lot of fun. It just, for me, as someone who had never played it, trying to go back and play it today, it's a little hard to do. But you do have two different manuals in here for both games, which is pretty cool. Next up, we actually have a really fun pickup here. We have Dead or Alive Ultimate Double Disc Collector's Edition. So this is a chunky boy. So of course it has some of the fan service that Dead or Alive is known for. But Dead or Alive is actually a fun fighting game. It gets so much crap for just because they try to turn the game into the closest thing that they can to porn without actually doing it. So yeah, we have Dead or Alive 1 and 2 Ultimate here. This is complete. And yeah, they actually have cards in here of the characters, which as a card collector is actually cool. I kind of want to put these in card sleeves. Then we can open up Dead or Alive Ultimate 2 here. And of course, like, it looks pretty much the same. It's the case is pretty much going to be the same. I think those were the only two cards that I had, though. Yeah, it is. God, complete move list. Good lord. But yeah, this is just like a pretty cool little collection to have on the original Xbox. Like, I'm happy to have this thing. I got it for a good price. I don't see a sticker on it, though. We have Dakar 2. That's Dakar. Dance Dance Revolution Ultra Mix. Why do I have so many original Xbox games with this freaking tape on it? Like, what the hell happened to my collection? Yeah, I'm not a Dance Dance Revolution guy. My brother is, though. He likes every game that I don't. We have Commandos 2. Cabela's Dangerous Hunts. This actually might be an okay one, but I'm just not into hunting games. Alright, another game with more tape on it. We have Second Sight. I know my collection had these, but I don't know why. Like, you can see that these are super old. I think a lot of these that have the tape on it came from that dude that I bought the collection off of. And, like, maybe, like, when he was younger, he did that to, like, value his games. Maybe he bought a bunch of games from like, a yard sale or something. We have Red Dead Revolver. This game actually helped me out, because whenever I bought my Xbox, this is one of the games that I got from that dude. It helped me out real well, because I was testing out some controllers that I had, make sure they all worked. And I started out this game to test them. And my character kept jumping. Just kept jumping. Part of the tutorial, you have to do like a target practice. And it's real fun trying to hit a target when you're just jumping uncontrollably. Turns out to jump in that game, you have to click down the joystick, and it was just stuck down. Rainbow Six 3, Black Arrow. Well, we have the 63rd Rainbow game. Pro Race Driver. I still have not actually played this. I think the most I did was test it. But does this not scream like bootleg mobile game to you? We have Silent Scope Complete. I actually forgot I have this. This is actually all three of these Silent Scope games, or at least the first three. Oh, yeah, this thing you're supposed to use the Mad Catz blaster for. Yeah, because it's an arcade game. I work in arcades. I should know that. But I don't have that, sadly. I need to pick up the Mad Catz blaster. I actually kind of want to. I want to play Silent Scope now. But yeah, I forgot. That was actually an old arcade game. I had to work on a Silent Scope machine once. Yeah, pretty cool. MX Unleashed. Yep. I picked this thing up for only $12. I don't know if I overpaid or if I underpaid, but I was just happy to have it. I still haven't played it. I've played Doom 3 in the past. I didn't buy it because I wanted to play it. Who buys games to play them? I wanted it because it's the limited collector's edition of Doom 3 with this just crazy artwork on the back. It is one of the steel case games. But yeah, we do have our disc in here, which is awesome that we actually have the game, and we have the manual for it. For being a collector's edition, really all they did was give it a metal case that looks awesome and put a sleeve over it. That or I'm missing something, but I don't think I am. But yeah, we have The Gateway to Hell is Open. All right, now we have another Platinum Hits, Ghost Recon Island Thunder. Why were you a greatest hits? I'm just not that big on the old Tom Clancy games. I'm getting too judgmental. I'm probably one of the only people that owns this. Now, you probably think I'm crazy. Yeah, Tetris World is 3. Why did I say 3? Where the hell did the 3 come from? this game was actually a pack-in game. Well, not a pack-in, it was a dual game. You had, I think it was Battlefront 1 or Battlefront 2 with Tetris Worlds. And so most people who had Tetris Worlds bought the collector's thing. Well, not the collector's, the dual pack, because it had both games in it. I actually had that as a kid. I don't think I own it now, but we do have an original Tetris Worlds without Star Wars, so it's less cool. We do have Star Wars Republic Commando. This box also feels heavy. It must just have a thick manual. Oh, there's something else in here. Oh, there's something to send in. Lucas Arts, Attention Marketing Department, Republic Commando Xbox. What is this? Yeah, mail-in registration. That's what I figured. Cool. Well, we have mail-in registration. We just have a thick boy manual right here. Then, of course, we have Battlefront 2, which, you know, I agreed for the longest time that the original Battlefront 1 and 2 are better than the ones that EA is producing now. I don't know if I still stand true to that, and it hurts me to say it. Don't get me wrong, I still love these games. But the other ones, they finally fixed them up, and they're so much less pay to win. They're actually fun, and they look freaking beautiful. I still think the combat in this game is probably better, and the systems are probably better, at least if you're nostalgic enough for it. But, I don't know, the new Battlefront 1 and 2 are not bad, man. They just, I'm just so sad about the pay to win crap that ruined the first game and tried to ruin the second. Alright, we're nearing the end, I promise. I'm sorry if you don't like the original Xbox. We have Gun. Yell that louder and louder until my neighbors call the cops. We have Craig Hastings Tournament Paintball Maxed. A friend of mine, I have a bunch of demo discs. We'll be going through those later. I have a giant collection of demo discs. We were playing a demo disc together, and this game was on there, and he was like, dude, I loved this game as a kid. And I was like, you know, I actually own it, right? And we played it, and I don't see why he likes it. Why do you have paintball games? The point of paintball is to be able to shoot people without the violence and the crime of actually killing them. So, if you're playing a video game, just kill people. We don't need this. Alright, we do have GTA 3 right here. I have to imagine it's worth more than $15 today, if I'm guessing. Oh, this is Blockbuster. Oh, that's sick. But yeah, we have GTA 3 with their really funky artwork. And a somewhat beat-up case. It doesn't quite close right. Then we have what is cited as the best GTA by most people. We have San Andreas. I don't know, man. I loved Vice City. It's just nostalgic for me. I never got to play that much San Andreas, though, so I don't know. Maybe I should actually do it. Like, I played it growing up, don't get me wrong. I played so much Vice City because I actually owned Vice City. I played San Andreas with a friend. We have GoldenEye Rogue Agent with this weird, like that isn't on the game itself. That's on like the case, so you would know that you have the wrong game in there if you put a different cover on that. Xbox Live and EA. That was the wrong side. 2-month free trial. Well, I should definitely use this. I would love for Microsoft to still accept these. Like, look, that hasn't been scratched off yet. I would love if you could type this in and you would get like the Xbox Gold or whatever the hell it's called. I don't know. I use Game Pass. But if you could scratch that off and get Xbox Online for 2 months still, if they would still honor that, like Microsoft would immediately become my favorite company. Oh no, we're starting to overheat. We only have a few games to go. Okay, I gave it plenty of time to cool down this time. We only got a few games left. Starting off with Kill Switch. It's a game where you kill switches. We have another Lord of the Rings game, this time on the Xbox. We have The Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, the most exciting RPG since Final Fantasy. I don't know about all that, but we have There It Be, and on top of that, we have another Lord of the Rings game, The Return of the King. So, I guess I own like 3 Lord of the Rings games. That's kind of cool, I suppose. We have Hitman 2, this is the Platinum Hits version. This box also feels kind of heavy. Yeah, it's just because of thick manual again. My favorite Xbox game, we have High Rollers Casino. Do you want to play Casino on your Xbox? Now you can. And our last Xbox game. Yeah, we got Half-Life 2, that was also $2 apparently. Yeah, I never actually played through both of the Half-Lives. I've played a little bit of one. And I know, like, I'm a PC player. I should have done Half-Life because I love Steam. but it just, I don't know, I just haven't bothered to do it yet. Maybe I should. So that's all the Xbox games. There's no way in hell I could even get them all on camera. And the PS2 collection was about similarly sized, but I just have way too many of these, especially for someone who doesn't really whip out the original Xbox that often. Maybe I should. Yep, yeah, they're all just going off camera now. We have too many Xbox games here. But yeah, I am actually taking this as an opportunity to reorganize my game collection, because it was kind of getting pretty bad. When I decided I want to do this video, I was like, yeah, maybe I should go ahead and just get that done. So after all this is done being recorded, I get to do a lot of organization, and when I edit the video, I get to go price all of the games. If you've ever been on the website Price Charting, that is where I'm going to be pricing all of these games from. It's the most accurate way that you can get online anyways, of pricing and valuing your game collection. So I'm going to be doing the prices off of Price Charting. I'm not going to be doing it as if they're all complete in box, because they're not. I'll be doing it based on what is there, but I'm not going to be doing it based on the damaged condition of some of the games. It's going to be just, this is what it's worth, ignoring condition of the game. But yeah, I used to use an app called GameEye, where you can actually catalog all of your games. You can scan them all in, see the value of all of them. You can sort of by console. Even the consoles themselves are on the app, and it actually does it through price charting. So if you're interested in doing that, look for GameEye. It's pretty cool. And for the third console in a row to release in 2001, we have the Game Boy Advance. I only have one boxed GBA game. I wish I had Fire Emblem box. I think this might be the most valuable game that I have. That needs cleaned. This is my original copy. I've had it since, well, it was a new game. God knows how long ago that was. But I am a massive, massive Fire Emblem fan, so I am super happy to have this. My collection for the GBA is rather small, and it's actually the collection I'm currently working on bringing up. So I do have other games I'm going to be doing in my recent pickups video. That video is going to mostly be GBA, at least the first one will be. This is my favorite part of my GBA collection, though. I have Pokemon Ruby, I have Pokemon Sapphire, and I have Pokemon Emerald, which is pretty beat up. If you can't tell, that's the one that I played a lot as a kid. A lot. This thing's been in a few Game Boys. I actually went through this the other day, and I have a bunch of Pokemon that were like, a lot of Pokemon that were like traded with friends. So I can look at the OT list and like see like the bunch of trades I did back in the day. So that's one I refuse to wipe the save on. I also have a bunch of these, and I know it's weird that I have these in cases. These are bootleg games. And not my actual Pokemon games. I'm going to be swapping them out now. It's just that these cases are such a pain to open. These are like also like bootleg cases. These like aftermarket cases. God, I can never open these pieces of crap. So these are bootleg games, which I would love to show you, but I can't open it. That's why I don't store my GBA games in here. That's why I don't use these. These bootleg games came with these cases. And like, God, I wish that the cases were better. There we go, I got it open. I bought a bunch of these thinking it'd be fun to do a video on and try to capture the footage, and just never did. I have had them for a long time. They're like bootleg Pokemon games. I ordered them from like a Chinese selling website like AliExpress or Wish or one of those. But Pokemon Dark Cry, The Legend of Giratina. And it even has like the official Nintendo seal on it, but it's like super white. Like even off camera, like I can't read that. So yeah, well, actually uses a tri-wing screw. But yeah, the bootleg game. We have another one, Pokemon Momon. If I remember right, this is the one where it's just one of the original Pokemon games, but they just turned all the sprites into women instead of Pokemon. We have Pokemon Focus here. This one was ahead of its time. Pokemon Chaos Black version. Yeah, this one is, God, these actually use tri-wing screws. That's so weird. Yeah, this one's just ahead of its time. Pokemon Black did release. It wasn't called Chaos Black, sadly. We got two more of these bootleg games. If I can even bother, well, if I can even manage to, I was able to pry it. Okay, if I pry my finger into the here instead of in here, I can pop it right up. We have Pokemon Advanced Edition. That's it. It's Pokemon for the Game Boy Advance. What a novel concept. And then we have one more. I think I learned the trick to these. Yeah, I learned the trick. You just open it from what you wouldn't expect to. We have Pokemon Resolute version. It doesn't like focusing on these small cartridges. Yep, Pokemon Resolute. Which I don't even think... Let me fix brightness a little bit here. Like, turn it down, maybe that'll help it. I don't even think, what's his name? I don't remember what the Pokemon's name is. Didn't he come out on a DS game? But I do have one of my non-bootleg games in one of these cases, just kind of randomly. We have Mega Man Battle Network White 3. If you've never played the Battle Network games, they are really cool and really unique. You could definitely tell that they were trying to be, like, competitive with Pokemon with it. There's a bit of collecting to it. But it's not a Pokemon clone. It is a very unique game. There are multiple of them, and like Pokemon, they were like white and blue Battle Network games. They were like, you know, clones of each other with some differences. Really fun. This isn't the one that I played as a kid, but I did pick this one up years later. Got a little bit crusty in there. And then my currently only boxed Game Boy Advanced game is Duel Masters. Yeah, if you watch old Junk Seeker videos, I actually had this in the back of a couple of the videos. Yeah, it's a box copy of Duel Masters to the Game Boy Advance. The game's not in there. I have it right here. I should probably put it back in there, though, because I'm not, like, actively playing it right now. But I am, like, I've been getting super into the Game Boy Advance again. Like I said, I have picked up some games that I plan on putting on the recent pickups video. And I want to save them for that. But I've been playing the Game Boy a lot, like late at night. Like I've been using my Game Boy SP, just like laying down in bed and just playing Pokemon or whatever else. I also started taking, and this is gonna sound like a fucking lame thing to do, I started taking my Game Boy Micro with me to work and just playing Pokemon on my lunch break. Oh, I almost forgot. I found these laying around. I want to eventually collect all of the Game Boy video cartridges. These were literally just... They were episodes of a TV show, or they were movies, but they were compressed down to, like, Game Boy scale. It's pretty horrid to actually watch things on this, but I want to try and collect all of them eventually. So that means I own things like Strawberry Shortcake, because I got it for a good price. I know I have one or two more of these laying around somewhere, I just don't know where. And we are on to Generation 7. Starting off in 2004, just 3 years after the Game Boy Advance, we have the DS. And to start this one off, here's another Naruto game, another childhood game of mine. We have Naruto Path of the Ninja. It, of course, is still in here, still complete in box. I started to get a bit better at taking care of my games around this stage, I think. But yeah, we have another... This is like a true RPG when it comes to Naruto. It's almost like grid-based combat. It's very, very unique and very cool. I don't know if I would go back to it today, but it was pretty cool back in the day. Oh, I almost forgot. I do have some loose games, so I actually have a case for this loose game, if I can open it. Yeah, we have Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow. I like the whole Castlevania series, even if I suck at them. We have Kingdom Hearts Recoded. I actually got this for, like... I was trading something that I didn't want anymore, and I got this with a few other things. That was like a free thing the dude gave me. We have Spyro the Eternal Knight. Again, my camera isn't too best with these little micro things. We also have Dragon Quest Realms of Revelation. I didn't play that one as much as I probably should have. But anyways, moving on. I actually have all my DS and 3DS things like kind of put together, so I'm going to try and sort through them. So here we have Pokemon White version, but we actually don't. We have the case to Pokemon White. We don't have the game. You're going to notice a common thing with some of my DS games. Some of them are just gone. Maybe you'll find some of them one day. But I have the case for Pokemon White. It's the same with the 3DS. You're going to find some things like that. We also have Pokemon Pearl. But I'm sorry, it's just the case for Pokemon Pearl. But on the upside, I have Pokemon Platinum in it. Yeah, I bought Pokemon Platinum years and years ago without a case. And I happen to have this Pearl cases. By the way, fun fact, I never owned Pokemon Pearl. I don't know where this case came from, but it is the complete case. It's the case, it's the artwork, it has the manual and like a collectible poster thing for Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I did not know that this was in here. But, like, I ended up picking up Pokemon Platinum, and I, like, you know, I don't have a case for it, but that's pretty close, right? My brother also got way too into this game, Dragon Quest Monsters Joker, and he kind of convinced me to go and pick it up, and I did, and I didn't care for it. But here it is. I like Dragon Quest, but I couldn't get into this. Maybe some of you guys have played it. Maybe you enjoyed it. I didn't. Next up, we have Pokemon Black to go with our empty Pokemon White case, but we actually have the game. Yeah, I went with Pokemon Black. These games got so much crap when they released. Like, everybody was just crapping on them. I loved them, man. Like, I don't know what the opinion is today. I never really hear anybody talking bad about them anymore. But, like, God, when this game released, like, my Pokemon, like, peak Pokemon for me as a kid was Fire Red. When I played Fire Red, that was like my addiction. And then it kind of died off for a little while. And then Pokemon Black and White happened, and it just full swing again. Like, I got so much back into the franchise and haven't really slowed down much since this. Alright, we also have, I believe, our final DS game, Age of Empires, The Age of Kings. Now, you might be thinking, why would you intentionally pick up an Age of Empires game for the DS? Surely it's not good. Like, obviously PC is the way to play this. So, yeah, you know, and it's Majesco as well. Like, you know, surely this random YouTuber didn't intentionally buy this. No, I did. And it's actually kind of fun. I played Age of Empires over at a friend's house on PC. It was actually first time I played PC games in years. And his whole family was obsessed with this game. So actually him and his dad would play this a lot together. Like, they would be in different rooms because their computers were in different rooms. And they would fight against each other, and his dad always won. But I actually played with them. They had another computer. And so it was actually me and him going up against his dad, and we still lost. But it was fun, and I got really into it, and I wanted to play it, but I didn't have a computer. I found this one day, and I was like, hey, it's the same thing, right? No, it's not. Rather turn-based, but still a lot of fun. Now that the 3DS games are out of the way, not the 3DS, the DS games are out of the way, the same year, again, as the DS, we had the Sony PlayStation Portable. And I have a fair number of games for this thing. I used to love my PSP back in the day. A lot of my games, though, were downloaded. So here, we have a cracked copy of, God, it does not like that, of Dissidia Duodecim. It's Final Fantasy Dissidia. This is the sequel to the original. It's cracked, but it still works. I know, because I played it like a year ago. Yep, we also have one of my, if not my all-time favorite PSP games. We have Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. I freaking loved this thing. God, the PSP's little disc things were just so wacky. We have Loco Roco here for the PSP as well. We have The Legend of Heroes 2. I actually got this from a friend of mine. We have Fat Princess, Fistful of Cake. I freaking loved this game. It was so competitive, but so goofy. Like, honestly, just go and play this. It's actually fun. We have Daxter, the really weird Jak and Daxter game. It's actually a first PSP game. I got it for free. You see how it's just completely ruined? A friend of mine, his little brother, also had a PSP. This was my first physical game, but I actually got it from him. He thought, like many kids did, that this was the case, and that you opened it to get the game out. That's not how that works, but it still runs. It's just not the best. And then we also have The Third Birthday. This was actually my sister's game on the PSP back in the day. Well, obviously, it's a PSP game. She did not like it. It was just not for her. It is weird. It's a first person, or it's a third person. I don't remember. It's a shooter on the PSP, it didn't handle that well. I enjoyed it. My brother did too. It was a fun little game, but I ended up being the one who holds it today, somehow. Then we have the boxed games. These are in no order. I like to save my favorites for last, but these are just kind of, I'm not gonna bother. We have the original Final Fantasy right here. This was for the, 20th anniversary, and you can see the ones in boxes hold up so much better. That is such a great condition. But yeah, this was literally just like a re-release of the first Final Fantasy. But again, it's like it says here on the back, it's not just a re-release. You're not just buying like an emulator. Now it's the best is even better. New dungeons, new graphics, new presentation, same classic gameplay and story. So they didn't alter the story, which is great. Not that there was a whole lot to the original, really. But they just upped so much stuff on this. I also don't know how I got my hands on this or why, but I have Midnight Club LA Remix. I'm not that big of a fan of racing games, like I said. I would actually have to say Midnight Club is probably my second favorite racing series. Burnout Paradise is still the best racing game ever made. Again, don't know why I have this. Avatar the game. I have Avatar the game. Yeah, it's actually in there. Oh, wow. I actually don't remember that. Yeah, this one has a... God, these are... Yeah, they do it from the side. It has a clear case. That's pretty nifty. Maybe I should play this. I've been getting so into handhelds, and, like, I know the GBA is the big thing for me right now, but, like, I really ought to go back and play the PSP again. This might have been my girlfriend's game. Anna had a PSP as well. I actually think this was hers. Oh, man. Lord of Arcana. Or Arcana, however you want to pronounce it. There's a demo for this game on the PSP that I downloaded. We didn't have internet for most of our lives growing up. And this game, we downloaded a demo. We were on vacation. We went to the beach. And our cabin that we were staying in had Wi-Fi. And so me and my brother would download a bunch of demos. We just liked playing demos back in the day. You know, like it was free. You didn't have to, beg your parents to buy you a game. The demo of this was very long, and it was very, very enjoyable. I played the ever-living hell out of it. And my brother, way down the line, ended up buying me this game, because he knew how much I loved the demo, and you can tell by that crack that I actually did play this. I didn't like it as much. I don't know if the hype just died down for me, but, the game itself, I feel like the demo way oversold what the game was. Don't get me wrong, it's still fun. It's still worth picking up, in my opinion. It just, I don't know, whenever I got back to playing this after playing the demo years before, I didn't enjoy it as much. Speaking of Dynasty Warriors, we have the original Dynasty Warriors on the PSP. Hello? Hello? Oh, I was hoping to mess with the scam caller on recording. Anyways, the original Dynasty Warriors obviously wasn't a PSP game. This is a re-release of the original, and as somebody who loved the series, like I said, I started with 5. Ooh... Maybe it's in one of my PSPs. Well, it's not in my PSPs, so I must have lost it. It has to be around the house somewhere, though. I know I had it somewhere. But anyways, this was very different of a start for Dynasty Warriors. All of the... Instead of being an open world arena, it was all squares. And you would fight in that one square. Then you would move on to the next square and fight again. It wasn't nearly as enthralling, but I can see why it captured people for how old the original game was. This, however, it's not really worth going back to the original Dynasty Warriors unless you're nostalgic, so maybe this is okay for some people to pick up. For me, it was more of Dynasty Warriors kind of sucked. Another girlfriend game, she had Naruto Ultimate Ninja Heroes. I still have not played this, but apparently it was her favorite PSP game. Then we have Loco Roco, also in case, hold on, was the other one Loco Roco 2? It doesn't say which one it is. I'm guessing this is Loco Roco 2, because this is the first one. If you guys had a PSP, then you definitely played this. If you haven't, play it. It is a fun little puzzle game. I can't express, this took hours of my life away. And then also another Anna game. She had Sonic Rivals 2, another PSP game that we own that I haven't played. But yeah, it's also complete in box.
And that is it for the PSP. So yeah, if you haven't realized already, this is just a first half. This video would be way too long if I tried to do both halves of the video all together. Plus, I wouldn't have it done editing in time. I'm just now getting this one done a day or two before it comes out. So hopefully I can get the other part done on time because it comes out in a couple days. So yeah, in part 2, we're going to be doing the Xbox 360, PS3, the Wii, the 3DS, the Vita, the Xbox One, and the Switch. So if you're interested in those, make sure you come back, and it's either 2 to 3 days. I don't know exactly what day it is right now. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and thank you for understanding why I'm splitting this video in half. Plus, I don't think half of you would want to watch a video that's over 3 hours long, so this is probably better for both of us. Goodbye.